Hey gang, this is the marketing thought of the day, and today our message is be specific. And what do we mean by that? Well, this week we've been talking about specifically how to control the target markets that you're marketing to. So the three that we've covered so far are past patients, your referral sources, and then the general public. So what do I mean by be specific? One, let me tell you who this isn't for. This is not for the private practice owner who is lazy or looking for a quick fix in marketing. This is some diligent work. And what I'm going to throw out, 99% of the private practice owners that may hear this, they might get blown away about how specific you can get in controlling your markets and also the messages that you're sending out, because it is work. Just had a note here about it's advanced stuff for the private practice owner who wants to kill it. So, like, really, if you're looking for the greatest possible return on your marketing dollar, I'm going to give it to you. You might not want to hear it after I tell you, how specific you can get. But once you have the system in place and your staff gets it, it's going to be a nice little machine that continues to crank out new patients for you. Whether you're marketing to referral sources or whether you're marketing to past patients or the general public. I'm going to give you two specific examples, but first, here's the thought in a nutshell. The more specific you are in defining your list, so whether it's a past patient list or a referral source list, so the more specific you are in defining your list, the more precisely you can match your message and improve the return on your marketing dollar investment. So the more specific you are in defining your list, the more precisely you can match your message and improve your ROI. So let's do two examples here. One is, let's take your patient list. So let's say you mail to 5,000 past patients, or I'll use us, we mail to 8,000 past patients. So a very elementary basic list would be the patient name, who you've seen in the past, and their address. And if you just have that list, you're ahead of 90% of the other private practices out there, and really you're way ahead of the game. Now, if you want to step it up a notch, here's some other demographics or some other columns you can put in your Excel spreadsheet, or however you assimilate that message and keep track of it. Here's some other items that you can have in there. You could have the patient's birthday. Why do we want that? Well, it'd be nice to send them a birthday card on their birthday, and if you do that, many times you'll have people come up to you in the grocery store saying, oh my gosh, you were the only person who mailed me a birthday card this year, and tear up on you. That may happen. Another thing that you can do is you can mail a promotion out on their half birthday. Maybe you have a wellness program and they get their first visit or whatever it is half off or something like that. So you can do a half birthday, but you need that birthday column in there to work your list that way. You can have the therapist that they saw, or the last therapist that they saw in your clinic. Hopefully you're in a clinic where the patient sees the same therapist every time they come in. It makes it much easier to have an accurate therapist seen column. And why do we want to do that? Because we can we can have one newsletter going to 4 different sub-lists of our patient list, and the patient who saw Joe gets something from Joe. The patient who saw Andrew gets something from Andrew. The patient who saw Dan gets something from Dan, and we have 2 Dans, so the patient who saw the other Dan gets something from the other Dan, or whatever that is. You can segment your list based on that. You can segment based on diagnosis or diagnoses. So they come in for stenosis. Did they come in for a total knee replacement? Are they there for BPPV or a vestibular issue or a shoulder surgery? What did they come in for? What did you see them for? Very important to segment that. Why do we want to do that? Because the patient who is more likely to return to us for back pain is the patient that we saw for back pain in the past. The patient who's more likely to come in for, here's an odd one, stenosis, likely had a balance issue in the past. So that you have to get, there's research out on that, but a positive Romberg test is usually indicative of is highly correlated with stenosis, not indicative, but highly correlated with stenosis. Probably has something to do with age. I'm not sure the authors went into that, but that's a little nugget that you can go with. Also, the graduation date. So when is the last time that we saw them? You could do the frequency. So how many times are they coming in a year for the last 5 years? You could include that in there. The recency, which goes along the lines of the graduation date. So the last time you saw them. People who you saw more recently are more likely to return in greater numbers or greater frequency. Visits. How many visits did you see them for? Were they 3 visits and done, or were they compliant with their program for a full 18 visits, or whatever your average plan of care is, and they went on their way then. Personally, if I was going to invest in somebody from my list, a segment, an easy segment is people that took my advice in the past. That's who I want to make my offers to. Their preferred communication. Do they like texting? Do they like email? Do they like direct? Have they responded to direct mail in the past? You'd want to know these things. How they arrived. Were they referred by their family physician? Were they referred by a friend? Did they respond to an ad? Offers they responded to. So you sent them something for an offer for a free screening for knee pain, and they showed up for that. You'd want to know that, because they're more likely to respond to that way in the future. Family orientation. Are they a widow or a widower, or do they have a large family? You'd want to know those things, to communicate with them appropriately. The insurance that they had the last time they were in, age, and also were they a health mentor? And for us, that means that they've referred somebody else in the past. So that's, if you keep track of those things, you can highly segment your list, and you can do a $300 promotion to 300 past patients, only to those who you saw for a total knee replacement, and run a special promotion around that. But you really need to be diligent and have your office staff be diligent in handling that. The second example that we're going to do is referral sources. So the classic example is, and I've done this, and I've done it for years, and we've done it well, but we send low back promotions to podiatrists, and usually what happens is those podiatrists end up coming in for treatment, and then they see what we do. We end up striking a conversation about podiatry, and that we treat plantar fasciitis and heel spurs and Achilles ruptures and things along those lines. And the other big one is Morton's neuroma, that we can treat that. So we strike up a conversation about that, why the podiatrist is in for treatment, and then we get referrals that way. However, if you want to be really intelligent about it and get the best return, it would be intelligent for us to segment our referral list and only send podiatry type content to our podiatrist. That's going to take a little more work, because right there, you're not going to send ankle sprains, plantar fasciitis type information, Morton's neuroma information to your family physicians, likely not, but you are going to send it to the podiatrist. Same other matching goes across the whole referral source list. Are you sending total knee and total hip replacement items to the orthos? That would be a good place to start. Or post laminectomy to the spine surgeons, or post fusion, whatever that may be. You can mix and match your list and segment it really, really well, and match your message more specifically to who you're mailing to. For the neurologist, at least in our area, they tend to see and refer a lot of fibromyalgia and headaches. That's what they should be receiving from us. They were the big examples that I had, but you can see, if you have a list of 800 people and you can segment out your family physicians, your urgent care specialist, your neurologist, your podiatrist, your OBGYN, your ENT, you can get a much greater return on your marketing dollar investment. Hope this helps you succeed in private practice. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Chat@breakthroughptmarketing.com. See you tomorrow.